Great grand rising, grand morning, grand afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from. Come on in, guys. Come on in. We are so happy to be here today. Let me throw a great grand rising up here to get the comments started. Let's be especially interactive. Happy holidays, guys. Happy holidays. Let me just put a great grand rising. All right, on Facebook. Come on in, give me a thumbs up, give me a like on YouTube, Facebook, and let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and get activated. I am Ilona Sanders, and I am here. Welcome to another Spiritual Success Live TV event. I am dedicated to delivering personal and spiritual empowerment that will be a true catalyst for transformation in your life. So with that being said, let's bring our hearts and our mind in. We want to come present to this sacred moment. We want to come present to this sacred morning. Great grand rising, Brian. Thanks for joining us live. I missed you. Pray all is well. Let's go ahead and get activated. This is so important, guys. You don't ever want to skip this over because this is what makes this experience fresh. It makes it potent, and it makes it powerful. So if you're sitting, go ahead and sit with your feet flat, your back straight, opening up your core center. We want God's life force, the prana, the chi, the oxygen, the energy to move freely through the body, nourishing your core soul centers so that we can be activated on a higher dimension. With that being said, when we place the hand right over the heart, that immediately sends a signal. We program it that way to the subconscious mind. We're ready to calm down. We're ready to open and receive. So with that being said, take a good healing deep breath in through the nostrils. Fill up your lungs all the way. Exhale slowly and fully through the mouth. And relax. Starting with the crown of the head, allowing the skin over your scalp to relax. That'll automatically pull your eyes, your cheeks down. Drop those shoulders down from your ear. Come on, beloved, relax. Get in good posture, relax. Next deep breath in and exhale. Consciously turn your focus inward now to the rich inner life. Come on, go in. The psalmist says, it's recorded that God says, I dwell in the thick darkness forever. That's the abode of the Most High. So when we close our eyes and we enter this deep, dark, melanated place, this is the place of power. So turn that focus inward to the expansiveness of God, rich resources, infinite potential. Breathe one more time for the power of 3 and relax. We just open our hands in receive mode. Come on, y'all know this. And we're open and we're willing to receive because we are safe. We are safe. And release the prayer formation today. I'm so thankful and grateful that I'm divinely guided. I'm divinely supported at all times. And I have divine provision today. I have everything I need whenever I need it. And it is so. All right, lovelies, come on in, come on in. Great grand rising. Thanks for joining us today. All right, happy holidays, guys. This is the season in our northern hemisphere. We are officially crossed over into the winter solstice. We are officially in winter. And in our community, we like to move according to the energetic calendar, the one that God put in place, right? And so this is the time where we need to be practicing stillness, reflection, introspection, vision casting for what's coming ahead. But this is a time, beloved, to just recoup, relax, work with the energy of the season. And then when March, April-ish come around, it is time to harvest and plant that which you want to go forward in. All right. So with that being said, rather you're celebrating what they call Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, happy holidays to you, right? So today, what I want to talk to you about is coming down to the end of this new year, this year, 2024, Universal 8 year, and getting ready to enter the Gregorian New Year empowered. I'm so happy to see that so many people are waking up. They're waking up out of that dream state that many have been trapped in this matrix we call Earth, we call the world, right? Waking up out of the construct of the program that has kept you locked and bound in so many ways. We're waking up and we're beginning to see all the little programs that have been put in place that you may have bought into over the years, locking you and anchoring you into a certain dimension. Now, what I want to talk about today is very important. What I keep hearing over and over and over in my spirit over the last several months, and we've talked about this many times on this program, right? Come on in, guys. Give me a great grand rising. Let me know that you're here. Is the importance, I want you to hear this, of creating the right timeline for yourself. So over the last few weeks, we talked about getting in position and about being determined, right? We talked about all of that, putting the pieces in place, activating, the grace to be able to go forward into higher dimensions. Being able to create the right timeline for you is going to be so important, because if you're fooling around in the 3D matrix, which is so chaotic, so confusing, so full of fear, so full of disappointment, disparagement, oppression, you name it, it's going on in the 3D realm. What we mean when we say you have to create your own timeline, you have to recognize, number one, that in this 3D physical realm of appearance, you are all powerful. Put that in your notes. In 3D, I am all powerful. Jesus the Christ was recorded as saying, I have power, right, in heaven and earth. All power has been given unto me. Heaven and earth beneath the earth. And then the writer picks up and says, now behold, I give you this power. You have to know in this 3D physical realm, you are all powerful. Nothing and no one is more powerful than you. That's number one. Today, I want you to own your sovereignty, your divinity. Use your privilege of agency. Being okay with being you. Somebody talk back to me. Being okay with being you. Hey, Reese, thanks for joining us live. All right? Being okay with being you. That's the first thing. Tap into your sovereignty, your divinity, your divine nature. Use your privilege of agency that says, right? Privilege of agency means that you have the right to move and act according to how you're being guided and directed, regardless or in spite of what everyone else is doing, in spite of what's going on in the 3D realm, right? In this 3D realm, I'm all powerful. Yes, there is nothing or no one more powerful than me. Thank you. Yes, Brian. And I'm more than okay being me. Very good. Very good. That's number one, beloved. Until you can be okay being you, and this covers a lot of ground when we talk about you being okay with being you. And then number two, being consciously aware enough to see when you need to move out of your own way based on old programming. Based on old programming that has you operating in a certain way that's no longer working for you. It doesn't serve you in any way, shape, or form. saying yes when you need to say no, saying no when you need to show up and say yes. So, number one is owning your divinity, your sovereignty, using your privilege of agency, and being okay with being you. Number two, knowing how to be consciously aware of yourself. You know, the ancients said it best: know thyself. And when you know yourself, write this in your notes: when you know yourself, you know God. And when you know God, you're going to know yourself. This is how you can tell you have crossed the threshold and you have broken out of the matrix, when you no longer feel that it is a sin or blasphemous or robbing God of glory to realize that you and God are one in this 3D realm. And that because God lives in you, there's no big God and little God, right? Because God lives in you, all power is given into you in this 3D realm. So now that we're here, now that we are here, and we're coming to the end, close on the Gregorian calendar, I want you to know one of my favorite scripture texts, right, from sacred texts: all things working together and fitting into your plan for good. And there's another record in sacred text says, but you have need of patience, that after you have done the will of God, you will inherit the promise. And we want to bring sacred text in to make it relevant, because you need to start looking at sacred text more as psychological, right? And not take everything so literal and chronological that you can't apply it to your life. So what that is saying, that after you have done the fasting and the praying, after you've gone to revival, for those of you still in that realm and that sphere, after you have done the affirmation, the prayerformation, the visualization, the meditation, right, the declaration, you have need of patience. And so what I pulled today says this, beloved. Listen. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, watch this, they need nurturing and patience. I want you to write that down. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Your dreams, your visions, your desires are blooming more rapidly than you desire, than you realize, excuse me. Still, they need nurturing and patience. Now, you've heard me talk about this before, but I want to lay this down. There's a difference between nurturing and soothing, right? And when we talk about patience, another sacred text records, let patience have her perfect work, so that in the end you can receive that which you have set out for. Now, I know that this is the trick, beloved, that many times when you have done the work, you have need of patience, that after you've done the will of God, the word of God, the work of God, through all the things that I previously named, you're going to need patience, and allow patience to have a perfect work, that you may inherit, receive the promise of what you have decreed, what you declared, what you made a clear intention about. That needs to be nurtured, and you need to have patience around that. So I just wanna breathe, take a breath, exhale, relax, and embrace the word patience, beloved. Patience is a powerful word, because patience tap into all the power in the unseen realm that's working on your behalf. That powerful angelic realm that is bustling with activity right now is working on your behalf. But what happens, the trick is that we get distracted on so many levels. So back to this. Let's drop back a peg. Know thyself. You have to know your triggers. And I had this saying years ago. I used to call it you're leaking, that I was leaking, right? This going way back to the 80s when I coined this phrase about leaking, meaning that your telltale signs are showing up. Beloved, the reason why you need patience is because you have to get rid of the notion of being tired of resetting. As long as you're in this 3D physical realm, with all the distractions and all the energies that are at play, you're going to end up having to reset as you move dual dimensionally, sometime multi-dimensionally through this existence that we call life on this planet. You're going to have to reset many times, even myself, as long as I've been moving in personal and spiritual development. These are things that no one will escape because it's a part of the 3D construct. What will happen is that it's fewer, further between, and it becomes less and less that you have to reset. And that's what I'm here for today. I'm here to put my arms around you, as I always do, to give you that support, that day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month support so that you stay on track. When we don't have support, I want you to hear this. When you don't have support in place, when I don't have support in place, what ends up happening is that we get stuck in a loop and cycles, patterns, habits, and we just keep going around and around and around and around. But the more you know yourself and the more you become aware of your telltale signs, the more you can put tools and techniques in place to keep you on track and to keep you focused. I even experienced this, even in this year of 2024, as awake as I am, as focused and intentional as I am. There was a space in this year where I slipped into an old habit, an old pattern, let's say, and don't even know how I did it. So what do? You don't beat yourself up when that happens. You don't beat yourself up. You just simply assess. This is how the ego mind works in conjunction with everything else in your physiology, your biology, your gut, all those critters in there trying to call the shots, right? Based on how you eat, based on how you think, based on how you sleep, all that nervousness that you're used to operating in, it kicks in after a while. But you don't beat yourself up. You sit down and you assess. And you ask the question. Now, if you're an OG and stuff has been operating for a long time, it slips in and you don't even know how you got there for the life of you. There have been times when, for the life of me, I couldn't remember right off the top of my consciousness, how did I end up here? I was doing that. I started that project. How did I end up not doing anything? And how did I end up back here? But you do an assessment and you start asking the Holy Spirit, your higher self, God, universe, whatever works for you. How did I get here? What was I doing right before I got here? Because 9 times out of 10, I know you've heard this, but trust me, you need this over and over and over again. 9.999% of the time, you know what happens? What happens is that you thought a thought. There was a thought that came in your consciousness that you weren't even aware you thought the thought. You weren't aware of it. You had a thought. And because when we have thoughts and we're not consciously aware of the thoughts, it automatically triggers a response in the subconscious mind because there's no barrier. There's nothing breaking or opposing that thought. And then when you look up, what will happen is, watch this now, this is the difference between nurturing and soothing. So you have a thought, you don't realize you had the thought, but what will come up for you is withdrawal, resistance, and soothing. Write that down. When you think a thought, you're not conscious of the thought. You may not be aware that you thought it, but this is how you can tell the thought was effective and pulled up programming from the subconscious mind, because you withdraw from whatever it is you're doing. Okay, let's say, for instance, you're not even aware that you're withdrawing, right? This is the telltale sign. You start soothing. Sometimes you're not even aware of this, but I want you to become aware of this, because this is how these things slide into the door, right? Hi, Andrea. Thanks for joining us live. Sheena. Hey, Sheena. Thanks for joining us live today. I miss you and the family. Yes. All right. This is how you can tell you slipping into soothing, and soothing is all about avoidance. Write that down. So what your soothing may sound like, there might be, let's say, a comfort food that maybe you haven't eaten in a long time, or maybe you have even given it up for a while, whatever the case may be, right? Then all of a sudden you have the thought, you're still not all that conscious of what's going on. I just want some, let's say, potato chips. I'll use one of my nemesis, right? I just want some potato chips. I haven't had no chips in a while. Meanwhile, right, then the desire for that begins to kick in. Meanwhile, this is where I want you guys to first start paying real attention. Y'all talk back to me if any of this is making sense to you, if you've been down this path. The first thing to do, because then all of the reasons start coming in. Oh, I've been good. I haven't had none in 3 months, whatever it is. Knowing that you don't have control over that thing, you start bargaining and negotiating. This is how the ego mind works, right? Because remember, one of the jobs of the ego mind is to keep you safe, keep you playing small. So how does all of this apply? Let's say you were getting ready to start your business. You were getting ready to publish your book. You were getting ready to start getting out and meeting new people. But subconsciously, you feel threatened. You may even feel a little overwhelmed. So what begins to happen is the message to the subconscious was, ding, 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 ding. Some of y'all have saw Inside Out, and I think they did an absolutely fantastic job of depicting what goes on inside, biologically, chemically, in the nervous system when we're having these thoughts and these feelings. So you were threatened by what you said you wanted to do, because the ego mind doesn't recognize that as something comfortable that it can stay in charge in. It just sees, okay, Brian's getting ready to move in another way and we're not used to this. And he told us, now this is the subconscious kicking in. You told me you were afraid. Y'all heard me do this many times, right? So right away, the defense mechanisms come up in place. So how can we move Brian? I hope you don't mind me using you as an example. How can we move him off of that project? Because it's going to take him into the unknown, and he's kind of like not comfortable in unknown situations. So how can we take him off? Bam. Let's let him soothe. Let's comfort him. Let's support him. Hence the thought, I just want some fill in the blank. Knowing that thing, this is what the subconscious knows, the ego mind knows, that thing is tied to a litany of behavior. That once you open the door to that, y'all better talk back to me, because I know y'all know. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Once you open the door to that thing, right? There's a whole string that comes along with that behavior. You're not just going to eat a half a bag of chips and let it go. You're going to end up eating the whole bag. You're not just going to end up having one drink. You're going to drink until you can't stand up, because that old energy is in the body, right? And y'all heard me talk about addiction before. Addiction is addiction. We don't demonize one thing from the other. Shopping, drinking, sex, gossiping, drugs, alcohol, it doesn't matter. Addiction is addiction. It all works on the same playing field. All right. So, but what I want to say about nurturing, when we get to soothing has us withdrawing. It tells you to avoid. It puts you to sleep. Then the next thing you know, you're not just eating the chips, you're eating the popcorn, you're eating the pretzels, you're eating the fast food, all of that, until when you look up, now, how did I get here? How did I end up back here? Even myself, like I said this year, how did you end up putting on 10 pounds? You went to sleep for a minute. When this happened, beloved, you don't beat yourself up. You don't condemn yourself. You don't kick yourself. What do? You're going to breathe. I'm going to say, I recognize this, but I can come out. I can come out. And the way that you come out is that you take your mind away from what you've done. You take your mind away from that. Once you assess and ask, how did I get here? What was the trigger? How long have I been here? And now you're going to leave that and say, okay, you have to point your attention in the direction you want to go. This goes across the board. I want you to hear this. You got to keep your attention on where you want to go. Keep your attention, your focus, your words, your thought on where you want to go. Let's breathe for a moment, because I want to take that in for myself as well. And exhale. You have need of patience. That after you've done it, because that's the trick, the ego mind will say, this is not working, it's not working. You've been doing this, you've been doing that. What did my card say today? Things are working and unfolding more rapidly than you realize. So you need to nurture. So I want everybody to hit the reset button right now while we're in the winter solstice. And if you want to make a real declaration and intention, do it now. Mark off 6 months from winter solstice to summer solstice. What are you going to do? To sum up right? What are you going to do? 6 months. Taking 1 month at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. This is where the support comes in, beloved. This is where support comes in. Somebody walking with you, holding you accountable, helping you think, helping you get to a resolution, helping you take action. That's where support comes in. Nurturing is when you hit a hard place and you're triggered and that thought comes up, I just want to have some. I deserve to relax. I deserve to just take a day off. All of that's valid. But what you must know is that going to help you stay where you need to stay, or is it going to send you down a rabbit hole of past behavior, habits, and cycles? Nurturing says, I feel the pressure. I feel the stress trying to kick in. I feel and sense the fear of the unknown. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to make a choice to take one action to do two things. One, I'm going to manage my nervous system. because this is what takes us out the game. Somebody write back and talk to me. I must learn how to manage my nervous system, especially if you're a highly sensitive person. We take in stimulation. If you're an empath, you take in stimulation. You can pick up and feel and sense things at an intense level. That's where many anxiety disorders come from, not knowing how to manage your nervous system as an empath, a highly sensitive person. That's number one. How do you manage your nervous system? You have to feel what you feel. That's why we run and soothe. You run and soothe because you don't want to feel what you feel. You don't want to feel that. You want to avoid feeling the uncomfortableness, the fear of the unknown. Right? Thank you. You know, I'm always happy. Oh, thank you, Brian. Thank you. Yes. All right. So you have to feel what you feel and just breathe. This is why we breathe. Every time you breathe, you start shifting energy. You start moving old thought patterns. You have to feel what you feel. You breathe through it, right? Relax. Allow yourself to relax. You can feel the nervousness, the anxiety. You may feel dizzy. You may feel weak. You may feel nervous. You may feel your body buzzing. All of that is just energy, beloved. And once you can recognize that it's all just energy, you're going to be okay. Hey, precious, 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 Dr. J. Thank you. I was thinking about you all this morning. You've been on my mind, and we'll talk soon, okay? About Tuesday. All right. Let me know. Let me know if you're able for Tuesday. All right. I am. So let me know if you are. I know you're supposed to be traveling. All right, beloved. So learning how to manage your nervous system lets you feel what you feel, right? And then you want to nurture what you're doing by saying, I'm going to make a choice. Rather than going here to hide and to soothe and to avoid, I'm going to make a choice to engage. So what did you do? You calmed your nervous system. And you can always do that by taking a few breaths. And there are many other tools we use in our spiritual success community to help you with this. But breathing is the go-to. That's number one. It's quick. It's easy. It gives you room and space to make a choice. Nurturing is about taking a small action that will help you stay on course. It's about helping you realize the dream and the vision, helping you move along your path with clarity. So you want to nurture. So what is the word? Let patience have a perfect work. You have need of patience that after you've done the will of God, after you prayed, fasted, after the revival, after the declaration, the visualization, the affirmation, the prayer affirmation, all the things that we do, after you've done all that, you have need of patience, beloved. I shared this, and I'm gonna close with this. I shared this years ago about how, this had to be in the, I would say, maybe the mid-'80s. This is how long ago this was. I heard a message. I wanted to put this up real quick, right? I heard a message that says, ears, H-E-I-R-S, ears can afford to wait. And at the time, right, back in the 80s, okay, Dr. J, we're on for Tuesday. Yay! All right. So I heard this message by Dr. Sarah Audubon. Don't know if she's still alive or not. And ears can afford to wait. And at that time, I was going through a lot, dealing with a lot. Y'all know the whole shebang. But then years later, I finally understood, because when I heard the message, I was so antsy, so just pressed on every side, pressed beyond measure. I couldn't understand how she was able to say that ears can afford to wait. But beloved, that is where patience come in. Because when you have non-attachment to the outcome, knowing non-attachment means that you're not so attached that you're holding something so tight that you're stifling everything trying to work for your good. Patience says that I can afford to be in this position. I can do what I need to do as I need to do it without worrying about the outcome, because I know the outcome is already done. How it's coming, I don't know. But what I do know is working for my favor. Can somebody talk back to me and say it's working for my favor? It's working for my favor. So bringing this all together, ears can afford to wait. Anything that you have on your list. And in our community, we did a winter solstice exercise, a little ritual to usher in. We're just in this, I can't too much to get into, but we're in this space of time where the winter solstice is nothing more than celebrating winter. It is the shortest day of the year, the 21st of December, and the longest night. And then we going through this 3-day period of the long night, right? And then we shift into another gear, and then the sun rises at a different time. So what we did, I want to give this to you in case you want to join, and you still have time to join. This is for if you have to be a little advanced to do this. So what we're doing is, as you're sitting in your reflection, celebration, vision casting, this is for those in our community. We do this at the end of every year. We want you to be led by the Holy Spirit, the higher self, divine insight, intuition. And we get 10 pieces of paper. I just took one sheet of paper, drew a line down, lines across to get 10 boxes. And you write 10 things that you would like to see manifest, you want to accomplish in 2025. And then I cut them all out, folded them all up, put them in a jar, put a lid on it. And then beginning today, right? So what I told people, 2 ways to do this. If you're not as advanced and don't know how to really trust your insight, intuition, and Holy Spirit's guidance, then do it like this. This is foundational, for foundation people first. When you write those 10 things on that list, I want you to go through and look at the top 3. Let your heart lead you, not your head. We're not doing this with let your heart lead you, top 3. And then from the top 3, I want you to intuitively sense which is the top 1. And you want to put that as your banner over 2025. This is not your head. It's not about like out of the 10, I really want this. No, you want your heart to lead you and guide you. For those of you that are more advanced, what we do is when we put them in the jar, each day, starting today, we take one and get rid of it. I don't care if you flush it, burn it, bury it, whatever you do. Just get rid of one. You're not looking at it. You're just going to take it, get rid of it every day until you get to the 31st, right? 10 days. And then there should be one left. This is for more advanced people that know how to trust divine guidance. And when you open that up, that last one, you put that as a banner over the year for yourself, right? We're going to do that as well as look at your personal number for 2025 So it's a few things that we're doing. So, beloved, I invite you to come and join us. I'll put the URL up on the screen today. If you need help and want support, give us a year. Go to that URL, and we're going to be so thankful and so grateful. All the information is going to be there for you, and we're happy that you're moving in to join us for 2025 in the Spiritual Success Life community. We're going to ask you to sow seed today, right? And we're still working with the number 8, so 888, 8888. And we could go ahead and peek into, as we did in the last quarter, peek into using the number 9, which next year is a universal 9 year. 999, 89, 99, whatever you feel to do. Sow into your life, sow into your future, sow into this word. And we're talking about sowing a seed. Seeds have to be watered and nurtured. And I want you to call your seed the seed of nurture and patience. The seed of nurture and patience, so that when you start, these are all the ways that you can sow seed, beloved, so that when you start in 2025, you will know what you are up against. Take a screenshot of that, write that down, sow seed, be a blessing today, nurture and water the seed of nurture and patience, so that after you have done the will of God, you can inherit the promise. After you've done your due diligence, we know how to nurture and have patience and stay on course and be able to do what we are here to do. All right? Lovelies, go to the website, ilonasanders.com/2025 SSL. Look to join us for 2025 SSL. You can also sow your seed there. You just click on online giving. And beloved, have a happy, happy, happy holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Blessed New Year. All of that good stuff. Have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.